For 2024, Volkswagen has made some notable improvements to its ID.4, which, for now anyway, is in North America the only electric vehicle in its lineup. What are those improvements? Well, that's what we're going to take a look at on this latest review, so stick around. The ID.4 has been an interesting paradox for Volkswagen since being first launched in North America as a 2021 model. It's been a relatively good seller, especially in the US, where due to the fact that it's assembled at their Chattanooga, Tennessee facility, the ID.4 qualifies for federal tax credits. And while it's sized properly and priced attractively, it's still often criticized for a host of quirky and oddball design elements. But it does seem that the criticisms have been heard, or at least in part, and an updated 2024 ID.4 is the end result. So for 2024, the Volkswagen ID.4 has indeed made some improvements, but it's not really a mid-cycle refresh, because usually when that happens, there are changes across the board. Where in this case, what we're looking at really is an upgraded or some improvements to the performance drive unit associated with the 82 kilowatt battery pack only. The 62 kilowatt, which is in the lower trims and the lower range, has really been unchanged. So with this new improved performance drive unit in the 82 kilowatt hour battery, we're looking at increases in range, output, and efficiency. So let's go through them. With respect to power and output, we've seen an increase, a significant one as well, where now with this system, the rear wheel drive has gone up to 295 horsepower, and the all-wheel drive moves all the way up to 335 net horsepower. So these are big increases there. This new performance drive unit offers more power and range. That's a pretty good win-win combination to me. You get a nice little boost with range in this new system, where now in the all-wheel drive system, you are at 423 kilometers or 263 miles. That's about a 10% increase. But if you want to go single motor, you don't need all that power. Your new estimated range is 468 kilometers or 291 miles, and that's basically about a 17% increase overall in range. So the battery pack is the same size, yet we can go farther and it's more powerful. Well, how does this happen? I'm not an engineer, so I can't tell you how, but I can tell you why, and that's because what they've done is created a more efficient overall powertrain system. And in terms of measuring it, we can see by the numbers that the new combined efficiency ratings for the 2024 ID.4, in single motor, it's 18.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That's 30 kilowatt hours per 100 miles. In the dual motor system, we now have a combined rating of 20.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers or 33 kilowatt hours per 100 miles. In terms of how much better that is, we're looking at about a 6% improvement in efficiency with the single motor and about 3.5% with the all-wheel drive. But hey, it has created a much better powertrain system that's more powerful. You can go further, and that really is something that should be more attractive to people who are thinking maybe on the fence about electric vehicles, because look, it's powerful, it's fast, it goes far. Come on, what else do you want? So in the 2024 ID.4 with the 82 kilowatt hour upper trims, you have some significant upgrades in the interior as well. Most notably is the swapping out of the old 12-inch center infotainment touchscreen. In its place is now a 12.9-inch larger screen, but it's not just about the size that's significant. Specifically, what I'm celebrating, and many others are, is the fact that it has now backlit controls at night. Down here on the bottom is where we would have our volume and climate controls, and it is all about touch. There is no tactile, which has always been something that annoyed me. But what was worse is in the original ID.4, you couldn't see these touch controls at night. They were not backlit, so you really had no idea where your hand was going to. Got to be one of those design things that maybe in the early stages the interior design team thought, oh, it's not a big deal, but like really, what were you thinking? It's kind of like how the Ioniq 5 had no rear wiper blade in the original version, and you know, if you drive in winter, you're saying, what, really? But thankfully it's been changed. You've also got different controls in the interface. It's now different. It's a little bit more, I think, more intuitive as compared to the way it used to be. And also with the climate controls, you now have a more sort of, again, what you'd expect to see in climate controls. The original ID.4 had, you know, these different sort of almost like modes or themes for climate, but now you have greater sort of personability with your, you know, your where you're taking the cooling, your heat, and all stuff like that. So that is certainly improvements there overall. Elsewhere, you can see there are some changes to the buttons and the functions on the steering wheel. I mean, nothing revolutionary, but there are some changes there. But what you would notice more is the shifter position has now been moved. It used to be connected to the driver information display. It's now back on the steering column, where I think most of us would expect it to be. Same idea of functionality of twisting, to drive and to, heavy regen, or to park and neutral and pushing in. So it's, nothing different about how it works, it's just where it's been positioned. As for other changes on the inside, there are some new options with the upper trim. You now have, for your sound system at least, you have now the option of a 9-speaker Harman Kardon. And when you get into the functionality of it, you have certainly the ability to use an equalizer if you really want to micro adjust your tunes, or there's some preset adjustments as well. So that's an upgrade. But those are the main interior changes with the 2024 ID.4 with the 82 kilowatt battery. Now, beyond what I've already noted, other changes for 2024 include the addition of ventilated front seats on upper trims, which thankfully I got to enjoy during a very hot and humid week. Plus, there are all new wheel options available at 20 inches for Pro trims and 21 inches, such as what I had on my Pro S Plus tester. There also appears to be a slight reduction in DC fast charging time, given that when I looked at my notes from 2 years ago, it noted that 10 to 80% charging times were 30 minutes, whereas now it's down to 28. But otherwise, the Volkswagen ID.4 remains a well-sized, capable, and generally fun-to-drive mid-sized electric SUV that's priced to be popular and not pretentious. And while we eagerly await to see both the ID.7 and the ID Buzz on North American lots, the Volkswagen ID.4 will still be a popular choice for Volkswagen EV buyers overall. So what do you think? Does the improvements to the upper trim of this ID.4 make it more enticing? Do you like the power and the efficiency? Would this be a vehicle that you would now consider? Let me know through a comment, and if you did like this video, be sure you're sharing it with others. Now, if you're not a subscriber to the Novak Report, I would love it if you consider doing so. And if you are a subscriber, thank you, but please make sure you've rung the bell so that you're notified of every time I upload something new. That's it for now. I'm Eric Novak. Thanks for watching.